Well, hello, my dear tamers. Here we are after the World Championship ended and the new ban list was announced, which is the topic of this video. We will talk about Worlds later, but let's address the elephant in the room. At this point, everybody that is someone in the game has probably talked about the ban list or have a crash out about it, because for what I see, 90% of the players did not like what it happened, me included. And the last 10% have mixed reasons why they are fine with the ban list. But to those who live under a rock and don't know anything about it, the ban list was announced. Here are the limited cards, and as you may see, there is only 5 cards. Well, and 2 unrestricted cards, but who cares? We'll talk about this later. Why everybody had a crash out about this? I mean, a crash out happens in every ban list of every card game. It's a certain thing that will happen, but why was everybody has such a low opinion about this ban list? And the thing is quite simple. Anyone that kinda plays in a certain competitive environment, even if it's a little, knows or feels this. The game is way too fast. What do I mean by this? That if your deck by turn 2 or 3 doesn't do something big or has a proper defense against whatever your opponent may do, my combo may do, you lose. You just straight up lose. Anyone that has seen the championship know what kind of decks are like in the top of the meta. Hoodimon was, is the only deck that actually got hit, because the overwhelming victories it has, it's just undeniable. The deck is just way too good in many ways, so they hit it, and only just a little, because the deck is still very strong and fast. I will admit that taking the Shakomon out, which I think is a weak decision, stops any kind of looping where we use other Digimons to, use Hoodimon to do DNA evolution, put the Shakomon under as a source, and then do with Hoodimon, the new Hoodimon, other attacks, using or Digilab or the CS level 3s, the classic combo. Let's first address what this ban list is trying to accomplish. First, the Hoodimon, they hit the Shakomon with the objective of stopping Hoodimon's loop. Same with the Mutismon. The Mutismon is a card that I'm fine with it. It's just to stop this particular game style of looping infinite memory with the Mutismon of BT3. Is fine. The Skull Balochimon, but that I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea why this was hit. I think, for what I heard, it was because of Titamon, the TS Titamon or something like that. A combo like that, I don't know. I'm not sure. No idea, honestly. I never seen it on play. Then, of course, we have something that many, at least what I heard from, other pro players and stuff like that, is like something that should have happened a year ago. That is the Dobermon X antibody and a Cerberusmon X antibody limitation. That the only people that don't like this are people that or play purple or have not encountered a good purple player that plays this. So everybody else is like, yeah, this is too memory effective. We hate it. Just scrap these cards and redo the whole evolution line again without these broken effects. So yeah, that's kind of it. That's the whole list. The cards by themselves were very good. For the last 2-3 years, it's any purple deck that wasn't deleting their own Digimons was using this engine. It was like, okay, Leviamon, Anubismon, Lord Nightmon, Lilithmon, even Barbamon. Like, your level 6 didn't matter. It just mattered that you have these cards under to be super memory effective. Anyway, well, that's addressing the ban list. So, what does this mean? This means that Bandai is okay with the state of the game, except for these looping combos. And that's kind of bad, not gonna lie, because the game, as I said before, is quite fast. And people are desperate, because for the last 2 years, the ban list and the limited list drops in every March and July, August, or September, like 2 times a year, and all the time after like a first big season. And people have been waiting like quite some time for a big ban list, a ban list that says, okay, let's turn down the power of some decks so people can compete, because having this standard at the bare minimum for the meta, it's kind of hard, man. Not gonna lie. Like, one of the excuses I heard is like, it's a really diverse meta, and I don't think that having a lot of decks doing the same one trick pony or being super aggro just with different skin helps to have a healthy game. It's just a coin toss with different flavors. So I wanted to address what kind of cards should have been hit probably, or like are still a little problematic, just for the sake of future references. Number one that is kind of neutral is Ukomon, and I didn't thought I dislike the card. Personally dislike the card, but then after like hearing what the world championship players had to say about this card, is like, it's kind of bad, not gonna lie. Usually when you do aggro in card games, you are focusing in doing damage fast in exchange of not being able to gain resources back as fast as you play. These are decks that you play a lot of cards in early turns so you can win fast, but the moment that something goes wrong, you have few cards in hand or not enough combos to keep going, and Ukomon is a card that actually rewards you for being aggro, because you lose absolutely nothing. You don't lose tempo and you don't lose cards in hand, and many times you win more, because many people exploit the Digitama or the Digi-Egg for future turns. Is you go Ukomon, you open a new egg, therefore you don't lose tempo, you open cards so you gain consistency and gain a new draw, and if your opponent doesn't respond immediately against Ukomon, next turn they can put out a new Digimon or a new Ukomon and draw more cards and still don't lose tempo. Like, you go aggro with this card and you lose absolutely nothing. You get rewarded for going more aggressive. It's just insane. Then the other card that two cards that are kind of problematic, but people may discuss it or disagree with me. Two tamers that are 2 cost, Hokuto and Analog Youth. These two cards have the advantage of being only 2 cost, and every time I see them in a deck, I mean, I know that people want them for consistency, it's the same as Ukomon, but every time there is an exploitation combo or something crazy, for example, for Analog is every time there is a on deletion loop, you see 4 copies of this card. It's always the same. It's like for your self deletion, you see 4 copies of Analog Youth. Other decks, No, you don't see it. I mean, the card can give you consistency, but you don't see it. It's just there to be exploited. And this card pumps the gas for Millennium. It's just insane. Same with Hokuto. Use it in Royal Knights, and the moment you have 3-4 Hokutos out, your opponent is kinda locked. And you win a lot of tempo from it. And these 2 tamers being only 2 cost, it's just so cheap. Those are the most neutral cards, I think, the most general. Then there are other cards that I want to talk about, but these cards were not hit for a specific reason. The decks that have these cards that are kinda in the top of the meta, or at least in the top of being playable, have received support lately in the last 1, 2, 3 sets, or in the new reprint set. Therefore, it looks pretty bad if they hit cards from those decks. Hoodimon was the only one that they had to do it because, it was a loop. But even like that, when they hit the loop, you can see still people like putting Sylphimon in the deck, and the deck still is very strong. I can imagine in the future that they will hit something else from this, but for now the deck is too new to be hit. And everything that I will talk about next are decks that are kinda recent, even if the cards that I want to hit are quite old. But still, they need to sell the new set, and they need to support the new cards. And it will look bad if they start hitting the decks that they give support lately. That's my theory. That's the only reason why I think some of these cards were not hit. And I firmly believe that in the future we will see them hit or something. I don't want to believe that they will get power creep, because power creeping the level of the game that is right now will lead us to Yu-Gi-Oh, where it's a 1 turn kill and you play only 1 or 2 turns and that's it. So I want to believe that maybe in the future some of these cards will get hit. Also, second disclaimer, maybe we are not seeing the whole picture, and Bandai knows that in the next sets, that like they release cards that they will slow down the game, and we just don't know it yet. We just can't see it. They are playing 5D chess and we don't know it. Still, the chances of that happening seem extremely low. And if you need if they release counter for what is the speed of the game right now, I feel like it will be a very broken card or something like that. I don't see it happening. First, I want to address Medusamon, deck that won the championship. I had a very good performance in the whole World Championship. I don't know what to take out from that deck. It's very hard. Like, I don't know, maybe the whole level 5. I don't know. Still, even if I say, yeah, take out the both level 5s, that is Cyberdramon and the Lamiamon that Terra's security, it's still super soon. So, no, that will not happen. The next one that is pretty obvious is Pyramidimon. The Tumblemon or Goromon, how do you want to call it, winning 1 or 2 points of memory for every time you evolve or do some kind of skill. It's just straight up insane. Many times you do Magnetic Dramon for 0 cost. The tamer helping you to recycle this card constantly with the skill of level 4s, level 5s, level 6, level 7. The only card that I saw the Japanese player by saying like, I'm amazed this survival. Like, people were 100% sure that it was going to be hit, me included. The Japanese player base, honestly, they don't usually they don't complain about ban list, but everybody was amazed that this card survived. Just to show a picture of how bad it is. Well, this card has to go, and not even limited, ban, because the fact that you can recycle 1 constantly and gain 1 point of memory, it's enough to get banned. From Royal Knights. This is a deck that I don't feel that is OP, but you know, the identity of this deck is completely lost. You only use 3 or 4 Royal Knights to play, and then that's it. It's like you use Oryuken, the secret Omegamon to play the Digimons, Omegamon X Antibody, and maybe Dynasmon or Magnamon or something like that. Maybe Magnamon and Dynasmon, you use 5, and then it's all support cards for the deck. 8 Omegamons, Cool Boys, the Hokuto Tamer, the Ikuto Tamer, or how is it called in English? I will put it on the screen. That guy. Digital Gate Open, like what the deck was supposed to look like, completely gone. Doesn't matter anymore. And I can't blame the players because for how the meta works, you have to play it like this. There is no other way. Then we have for Omegamon. Omegamon, I know, is a deck that has not appeared in the top meta recently, but seeing the support that is going to have in the next 81 set, the reprint set, makes me concerned. And before, like, this last meta still was a very top deck because it was incredibly consistent, very strong, and to do very powerful combos you needed very few cards. And if I had to say one card that actually is kind of broken, is the Miraculous Knight, the option card. Omegamon became an aggro deck, and with this option card is an aggro that also plays control, so you have everything. The card gives you everything. And I know that the argument is like, oh, but it's not so easy to have, the other 2 cards in hand to, use the DNA evolution. Yeah, but people may say this, and at the same time I see turn 2 or 3 do a full Omegamon. Moving on, Gallantmon. Gallantmon is a curious deck because in many regionals and championships, in many regionals was topping, but in the Worlds nobody bring it because it's a little too slow. I will still argue that the speed is quite good. The amount of memory it can gain, the amount of deletion it can do, it's just there is no amount of blockers that can stop a Gallantmon combo. And the only thing you can do is maybe have enough bodies, have enough Digimons for that mid grinder so they don't OTK you. That's the only thing I can imagine. And from this deck, I don't know, the thing that everybody says is Growlmon X. I say also War Growlmon X, but I don't know. The deck is not that strong anymore, but I can see why it's, a little broken. For a long time this was the gatekeeping deck. If you couldn't survive this Gallantmon combo, you are out. For example, I was playing Angels. I can't survive a combo of Gallantmon. It's impossible to survive. They will delete everything I have all the time, constantly. Moving on, for Paillamon, people wanted the Daisuke, the Davis and Ken limited. I can see why. You have so many level 3s that are searcher and you play 1 free from every turn. It could be quite broken, right? And also the deck is very aggro, so when you have a constant searcher every turn, it's the same as Ukomon. You have a constant searcher every turn that has no downside, because if they don't delete it, you take it back to the hand, replay it again, keep doing searches. I don't know. The difference between this deck and the other DNA decks from Digimon 02 is like this archetype has a lot of level 3 searchers. That's the only difference. That's why people want this tamer gone. Maybe if they hit one of the level 3s, we can keep it. Right now, it's not that good in the meta, but I can see the argument. I honestly dislike the deck a lot, but you know, those are kind of the decks that I see people complain. The other complaint that I see is the Time Stranger decks, but honestly, I don't feel that they are unfair. I think there is a different problem there, that is how players adapt to a completely new way of playing, where we get used to like giving 1 point of memory, and that was going to be the best play, but now it completely flipped the script, where maybe if your opponent starts their turn at 6 memory, 5 or 6 memory is actually better, because it's an awkward amount of memory where they don't get many skills, but they can play many things directly and stay in their turn. It's a very complicated issue. I would like to talk that about in another video, but in my opinion, they are not broken decks. The best you could tell that is broken is the Sylphimon, because it's quite fast. It's a very easy combo to do. That's the only thing we can maybe say, okay, it's a little broken. But it's up to debate. In my opinion, I don't think it is. Those are the things that I wanted to address. Talk about those cards and everything. Clearly, Bandai doesn't want to hit those many cards because, you know, they got support recently. They were released, you know, in the last 2-3 sets. New support is coming, so hitting those cards will look pretty bad. That's the same reason why they unlimited the Maho Gaomon and Sunrise Buster, even if these cards... Why these cards now? Why these cards in particular? Because there are many other cards that could be unlimited, but why this? Well, because Data Squad, or Digimon Sabers, for those who know the original name, is getting support. And this is a way to say, hey, look, play this deck again. Remember when we limited this deck? Okay, it's getting support, and look, it's coming back. It's just a publicity stunt. Nothing more, nothing less. It's just, okay, these decks are getting support. We are supporting this anime. Look, we are unlimited cards from that archetype. Because, I don't know. Same with the offensive, low-key offensive box toppers of PT25 that are all the limited cards that are to 1. With the biggest offense being a hidden potential discovered, because it's another card everybody saying like it's just way too good. Because, okay, we don't like Gravity Press, we don't like Binding Ray, we don't like Hammer Spark, but those cards like save you 1 or 2 points of memory. Hidden Potential gives you 5. It's insane. Like, it's way too good, and the price is just resting one of your Digimons. Like, and they keep it alive. Why? Because it's going to be a box topper. They design cards like 6+ months in advance. So the box toppers of BT25 were picked a long time ago, before they even considered what to ban in March, I think. So yeah, those cards that people wanted, that were limited, and now they wanted it banned, were not gonna happen because we have a special art for them. So yeah, at least until August or more, those cards will still be around, and it's all because they want to sell the case or the box. It's just because of that. So yeah, the conclusion of why this ban list was so poor or was so bad, just to sell the products that is coming in a week, in 2 months, 3 months, and to keep the sales of these last products that were like a month ago, 2 months ago, or 4 months ago. So yeah, no, it's just a business practice, nothing less, nothing more. Again, and it's kind of concerning, because I have seen, at least in the Japanese gaming space, that less and less people are coming to play, especially the casual players. Like, the pro players are still there, the casual players are completely gone. Why? Because the meta is not interesting. It's kinda boring. Even people that were playing Omegamon or something purple with Dobermon or Cerberus X, even those players are not coming back. And if this happens in Japan, I can imagine in the West, where we are more vocal about these problems, it's even worse. People are probably stop going to locals, or they are just saying, I will come back when they hit the decks. I heard this a million times. It's like, yeah, no, I'm waiting for the ban list to drop and then I will come back. And now that the ban list drop and nothing will change, I fear for the game. So yeah. And as a final note, I wanted to name all the decks from the last 2 years that are unplayable because their main problem is being too slow. I made a list. You will not hear maybe all the decks you like. This is my opinion, and it's about the main problem being too slow. There are other decks that can be played because, they have other problems, but these are the ones that have a speed problem. In not particular order, but the order I kinda were checking them out. Okay, and this is from BT16 onward. What came before, that's another story, because I will be here all day. So, okay. Magnamon X Antibody, Tyrant Cauterimon or Insects, D-Brigade or Digipolice, Dexdorugoramon, Dorumon, Mutismon, 7 Demon Lords, anything that is hybrids. I mean, red hybrids has kinda a chance, but it's the only one. Anything that is not red hybrids, to the trash. Diaboromon, Dragon Lynx, my personal favorite. Nightmon decks, not Dark Nightmon, but the Nightmon. Cross Hearts, and the same Blue Flare. Sea Creatures, Lucemon, Royal Base, Tyrannomon, Justimon, Chronicles, or for those who don't know, the Oryuken deck, Alphamon Oryuken, Gigasidramon, the Axel, or Chaosmon or Axel, how do you want to put it? Ghost, the Hero deck, any Appmon deck, all the Appmons, the Appmons are never fast enough. Adventure, anything that is DM or, from Versus Monsters. Abadomon, the CS deck, the Cyber Slot. Eaters, Black Wargreymon or Wargreymon in general. And now that I can mention it, Metal Garurumon too, why not? It's too slow. Dark Masters, Belphemon, and Machinamon. Those are the decks that I feel that if the meta was a little slower, could be played and compete. They are just too slow, and they don't have any kind of counter against the aggressive of other decks. So it's been a while. It's been a long rant. So tell me what you think in the comments. I prefer to know any ideas. The discussion, I think, is quite important for these kind of things. So yeah, this was, not gonna lie, disappointing. And I don't look forward to the next months of the game, especially if this is the speed we need to have to play the game. Bandai says, yeah, this is the game now. Until when, I don't know, but this is the game now. Fast. Quasi Yu-Gi-Oh. Okay, that will be all. Bye bye.